It's a sad time for Young Justice fans because one of the franchise's key creators has passed away. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about the Eisner Award-winning comic writer, his work creating the Young Justice comic, and even his time on the television show. Well, every once in a while, guys, we just have this bad news that comes our way. And over the weekend, it was one of those days. Now, in case you didn't hear, legendary comic book writer Peter David has passed away. Now, he was 68 years old and had worked in the comic industry for decades. Many of you are going to recognize a lot of his work because he's worked on huge titles such as The Incredible Hulk, X-Factor, Spider-Man, but on this channel, most notably Young Justice. Now, his work on the Young Justice comic series predates the show. He was involved with the comic project in its earliest issues, being a key part of the really first 55 issues of the comics, attributed as writer on all but 2 titles, and worked on that particular project from 1998 to 2003. Now, in case you didn't know, Greg Weisman also worked on some of those projects, and I think that's what led to him being pulled into the television show, where he actually wrote 5 different episodes across the first 3 seasons. He actually worked on Secrets and Insecurity in Season 1, Bloodlines and Intervention in Season 2, and Trippage, Episode 8, in Season 3. Now, like I was saying, he was a notable and award-winning comic writer outside of working on our favorite show, and even had a 12-year run on The Incredible Hulk, which is something staggering in the comic industry. And now I did get to meet Peter once at a convention. He was an incredible nice guy, and everything I read about him interacting with his other peers seems to be, well, exactly that person. He actually often jokingly described himself as the writer of stuff, and was one of those writers that did a great job mingling issues of the real world with humor and references to pop culture, something quite honestly that has been prolific in Young Justice. Now, as far as his death goes, it was reported he died on the evening of May the 24th, and he was 68 years old. Now, he had had ongoing health issues since about 2012 when he suffered a stroke. But in 2022, his family started a GoFundMe, and it was clear his health was in serious decline because he had had a series of strokes, a mild heart attack, and even kidney failure, which eventually led him to being put on a ventilator, and although it's not been confirmed, I suspect this was ultimately the cause of death. Now, his career in comics was absolutely incredible. He was nominated for an Eisner Award multiple times and won it in 1992 for his work on The Incredible Hulk, but also was the winner of many other huge comic awards at Comic-Con, including the Inkpot Award, the UK Comic Art Award, the Wizard Award, and the Julie Award. So the comic industry has definitely felt this huge loss. Obviously, as a fan of Young Justice, this is a huge loss. The whole series is basically based on the comic he created. And I think as fans of the show, we should take a couple minutes to kind of pay tribute to a man that really contributed a lot to this project. You know, at this point, it's unclear to me whether there'll be any more GoFundMes to help the family. The fact that he had to do a GoFundMe to kind of cover his medical bills really does highlight how comic creators are not taken care of. And the fact that financial worry may have filled the end days of his life is really a sad aspect to such a successful comic creator. We're Young Justice fans here, and we have to cover the bad news with the good, but I figured this was something you guys would want to know. It's just always so sad to see something like this happen. So I am curious on what you guys think. Are you familiar with some of Peter David's greater works outside of Young Justice? And out of the 5 episodes he worked on, do you have a favorite? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.